But now, so you have like from the 10-year-old to what would be 23 for some of the college guys now, 22. So let's go like kind of through the groups. You can touch by age group or whatever, just like some of the general things. Like, what are you noticing in like the summer training that is missing, whether it's like a skill thing or just a mental thing? Like, what are some of the things that you and Dale have been talking about, like running through some of these groups?
I'd say like the older group, like when we have our,
How old?
well, I'm going to say our college and junior
Okay.
group. So that you got guys that are drafted, guys in college, guys in OHL. I would say that that's obviously the best group.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
I'm
not the
saying,
9-year-old group. Yeah.
yeah. I'd say that's the best group, but I'm saying that in a lot of different ways. They always have that. That group has been good for a long period of time. They've done things correctly for a long period of time, like training, taking some time off, working on proper skills, like in filling a lot of the skill buckets. I think the biggest gap where I see with some of them now, and this is kind of like an obvious statement, is there's guys that were on a trajectory and now they've hit the trajectory, they've hit the top of that, and it's going to be like the skill piece. It is what it is. They can all shoot, they can all pass pretty good. Some of them are awesome at it. They compete really hard. They mostly skate very well. Like all those components are good, and they're attentive. They're attentive. They want to be there, ask questions. They're the yes coach. They're louder. They talk on the ice, all that kind of stuff. So everything that you want out of them is there. Now it's just like a common sense factor. Now the only thing different now is that because they're getting in their 18 to 20s, now it's that group dwindles down, obviously,
Yeah.
because
Guys drop out.
once you
Yeah.
get to 17, 18, kids start realizing that they're not hockey players anymore. So that group has dwindled down quite a bit from, where I used to have to turn people away. Now it's like I'm trying to get a guy from another town coming in and stuff like that. So, but where I see the biggest gap with them now is just the peak. And now it's like real specific on, like, maybe it's not trainable, maybe it is, but now it's like really up to them on what they need to work on. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like I could take that kid sitting there and just, I could point out certain things. Now it's up to him to decide, okay, but I need this and I need to do that. So for example, it's maybe it's too creative. Right? Maybe you're too creative right now. Like, in fact, here I'll use an example. So, Jet Luchenko on Charlie's team went first round to Philadelphia. I just read an article that he was in, and they're saying that he needs to start getting a shot first mentality. Okay, because he can skate, unbelievable. He can pass. He's got unreal vision. He works hard. He competes and all that stuff. So now to get to his next level, what is it going to take? And they're basically saying that you need to have a shot first mentality, because at the next level things change, and then you watch a little video and it's like, okay, here's his tendencies, this is what's going to happen, and now maybe it's a shutdown thing, right? So I'm not, if Jet ever listens to this, this is not a carve, it's just a reality. At some point you meet your maker, and you win or you lose. So he's a very intelligent kid, and he's quietly intelligent, quietly fierce. So that he's going to take that and study it and work it and implement it into his game. So he's going to probably, but my point is he has to choose now. Do I learn how to, like in his training, does he learn how to shoot in traffic? Does he learn how to set himself up in softer areas where he gets the puck back, where he can create deception, all these different things that'll make him, maybe instead of getting 1 or 2 shots a game, maybe he gets 5 or 6, because he has the ability to create, right? So that'll be him. So it'll be like, maybe it's someone that needs to be a little bit more physical or back check harder. Like, those are now decisions. So as you get older and your game is kind of like a complete game, now you have to take out 1 or 2 things and just say, okay, this is what's going to make me a pro or a college player or a junior and a successful one. And if I don't do that, then
Yeah.
what am I going to do?
Yeah, I'm
Right.
noticing the same thing with the off ice now, because these guys are in that 18 to 23 kind of range. And so when I'm talking to them now, like, we're doing a similar progression of the off-season program that I normally would do, but now I have to kind of change what I'm aiming for as an outcome, because it's not so much they need for that group. They need to build strength and get bigger, and like a lot of them are big enough, they're strong enough, they're because we're not in the bodybuilding sport, you know what I mean? We're not in the powerlifting sport, so that's not the focus. So I was having a conversation with one of our college guys yesterday, and he was talking to me about his conditioning. He was like, "I feel good, I feel fast, I feel strong, and then 35 seconds in, I'm getting tired." And I'm like, "Okay, so here's how you can work on the conditioning piece. Like that's your base building. That's what you need. You need to be able to last longer, right? So what I want you to do is X, Y, Z, and if some of the stuff we're doing in the gym suffers, that's okay. Like if you come in here and don't feel as strong, if you come in here and don't feel like you can throw the weight around as easily, that's actually okay for you because you feel like you need to work on this, which unfortunately it's a game of trade-offs, right? If you're
It's
focusing on
totally
if you're
trade-offs.
if you're working on one thing, you're not working on the other thing, right? So if I'm gonna say, hey, you need to hammer on your conditioning now until the end of summer, then what's gonna suffer is your lifts. Your lifts are gonna suffer. But that's okay because you've identified what it is that you need to focus on, and that's gonna be something that you prioritize as opposed to the general let's build. So right now we're coming towards the tail end of like the power phase where we're going to start to move more into speed conditioning stuff. So he's just starting earlier. He's going into his conditioning stuff a little bit earlier because he wants to have a good 2 months to focus on that stuff. So I'm talking to him about building aerobic base and building that endurance piece into how he's training now before other guys are doing it because that's something he feels he needs to focus on. So whether it's on the ice or off the ice, that's something that I've noticed as well now because of the age you need to start getting super specific about the thing you need to work on. And it's the same thing even with Charlie. We've been talking about some feedback he's gotten from camps and from some other coaches. And it's like, okay, so that is always going to be a focus for you now. Like you're strong enough, man. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
So
that. I was just going to say that. Like, there's a point where George St. Pierre said that in his book, right? He goes, "It's is being able to squat 600 or 500 or 450 pounds important? It could be, but in that field, like in the fight game, he goes, it might not be that important, but it's important. But he goes, what's more important is if you're in an awkward position and you have to flip somebody or press them off you from one leg in an awkward position, do you have that kind of strength? We'll call it, for lack of a better term, functional strength, right? So, or if you're walking and you step on a piece of ice, you might be able to squat 400 pounds, but you have the balance to like
yeah,
save you from
gotta
doing that and the
scramble. Yeah,
proprioception, right?
right.
So yeah, so like in one player's case that we were talking about is um, powerful, right? And that shows in his stride. Once the motor's going, it's like powerful because it's a heavy squat. What was identified to him was like, yeah, but it's because you set yourself so low in the squats and stuff like that, your change of direction stuff, the tendons haven't been trained to be quick. So like get on the plyometrics and learn to get the quickness. So now you have the quickness and the power because you don't need to be stronger. Like you
Right.
don't.
Right.
You will as you get older, anyways, but you don't need to get stronger. So it's a different type of strong. And there was another boy in here that's an '05 too. I was watching this summer and I felt like he was peaking. I could see up until last, like let's say we're doing cleans or squats and stuff. I saw him going like this, and I could be wrong because I haven't seen him every day. But then I was watching him lift and do snatches and stuff like that, and I'm going, okay, now it's like it's. I feel like he's peaked. His body is not the way it was. It was not progressing the way it was. I feel like he's peaked.
Yeah, right.
So maybe it's an age thing. Maybe like so guys get to that level. So that's where you have to get hyper specific and fix the little things that you need. And